No, you'll be the first person in over a year that's been here for it.
Wow, so much pressure.
Welcome to it. I was like, is she going to expect my apartment to be as clean as my classroom is? It is not. It is not. It's a disaster in here versus...
I feel like there's more of a need to wipe down in there, though.
Just from the contact of kids throughout the day.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know. I mean, I might be like not washing my hands. You never know.
I mean, maybe, but like I trust Katie.
True. Yeah, she would probably check me on that. Yeah. I feel like at this point, with like your TikTok feed, the things that you've pointed out, I feel like you two would really vibe on that level.
Nice.
Like that like fucked up walrus dolphin human thing that was like snuggling a child.
That wasn't even that bad.
What do you mean?
Like, that wasn't even that bad.
That was the most horrifying. And you were just like, we were like on our way to a track meet and you were just like, hey, look at this. Like just like nobody, blank space. Kai, here's this like messed up. What was that? Like
a porpoise? I don't know. It was like a clay. It looked like a soggy clay porpoise.
That was worse than the word moist. A soggy clay porpoise. Ugh.
Yeah. Exactly. It's great.
It's awful. Well, for everybody listening, this is Kai who I work with, and so you've been teaching now for, this is going to be your third year coming up, right?
Yes.
You had a really fun start to your career.
Oh yeah, truly the best. First
you had a strike. That's when we like actually got to know each other, and then COVID broke out shortly after, and then you had a full year of COVID, and then hybrid, and all that stuff. Are you looking forward to having a normal year?
See, like, is it going to be normal? I don't know.
Definitely not.
I mean, I feel like we're not in hybrid anymore, but we're still in COVID.
Are you sick of hearing the word and saying the word hybrid? Because I'm over saying in person versus virtual and hybrid.
A little bit. Like, the word I'm more sick of is unprecedented.
Yeah.
Every time they're like, in these unprecedented times. And it's like, when was it ever precedented?
When was there ever a normal year in a normal year?
Yeah. It's just like to everybody else that asks like, oh, are you teaching in person? Are you virtual? Are you hybrid? I'm like, please stop asking.
Yeah. That's like,
I don't know.
I don't even mention that I'm a teacher anymore because I'm sick of having that conversation. But
they're like, how was this year? And I'm like, how do you think it was?
Yeah. Hey, picture what you think it's going like. That's right. Exactly what you're thinking. But so that first year though, when we were on strike, that was like what? We were a month or two into the school year. We go on strike or whatever. And so you're from Florida.
Yes.
And you move to Chicago and then you stand outside in the freezing cold for like a month. What's going through your head as a Floridian adjusting to this this fucked up climate?
You know, I think what I told people was that if I saw frost or snow on the ground during the strike, I was going home.
Did you stick to that?
I did.
Nice.
I did. It was okay for the first like week and a half. And then when it was almost over, there was frost on the ground. And I was like, all right, I'm going home. I checked in, I got my attendance, and now I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Took me a little bit to realize what an actual coat was and what was appropriate for the weather, because I did not know.
Did you have like a windbreaker before? You're like, this is fine.
Yeah, I like slowly but surely added more layers. I had a coat that was like a denim one that I thought it was going to be fine. Was not fine. Got some gloves and a hat. I got my CTU hat then.
Nice.
Because I did not have hats or gloves. So those were donated and never given back.
Nice. From Adam. I still have his red umbrella. I have a red umbrella. And he's like, it's not union. But
does it say CTU on it?
No. It should be, though. Missed opportunity. It's in my trunk. I should give it back to him. He probably forgot about it. I don't need it, though. But
he doesn't need it either. He's got those fancy coats and the fancy hat. Yeah, they're the best.
His Inspector Gadget looking coat. It's John Lennon in an Inspector Gadget coat.
And it's probably so warm. I'm so jealous.
He wears it in like May and June though. So like I'll see him at the bus stop when I'm like coaching and there he is with his hands in his pocket. Usually that little hat that you only see on like Al Franken or...
I don't know.
Oh.
But also bold to assume that it's warm in May and June.
True. You
It
are
was
used
so
to that
cold.
now. Bold of me to assume that you're older than 12 as well, but
Yeah.
we are there.
I mean, you're the one giving me alcohol, so
There you go. Yeah.
that's on you.
For everyone at home, what are you, 20?
24.
Okay. Are you really?
Yeah.
Holy shit. I don't remember because I would joke about it. Like I gave you a cupcake on your birthday and I put like 12 on it, but I legitimately never know. I also didn't know my age like a half hour ago.
Yeah.
So.
Nope, 24.
Do you feel old yet? Do you have aches and pains? And you showed me your shoulder you're like, yeah, from volleyball, I can make it pop. Like what?
It just pops.
Just crunchy.
Everything hurts. I got a massage for the first time in a very long time last week, and
Nice.
I have never been in so much pain.
From the massage? Like before,
Yeah.
during, or after?
All of the above.
Was it deep tissue?
Yeah.
Okay. I just got my first massage in like 10 years. And she was like, have you ever had one in your life? I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
So deep tissue?
Uh-huh.
And you're not feeling any better?
I feel better. It was a lot. And now like parts of it are still sore and like my tendons are sore.
That's what you want, right? That should be on the
I did.
advertising.
That's I did want that. But now I just feel bad. And like the worst part is like Eli's bed it's like an old Tempur-Pedic bed. So
Okay.
now it doesn't have any structure to it. So it just sinks.
Okay. Yeah.
And so my back is like all sorts of twisted and it just doesn't help.
Yeah. Yeah. That's for sure a big factor. So I think I sent you the before and after and even my time lapse of my new mattress that I got.
Mhm. Yeah.
We went from like a 30-year-old mattress to like
30.
it was Katie's mom's guest bedroom mattress from her house.
Oh no.
And it was like pink vinyl, like the whole thing. It had 2 box springs. And now the new mattress with the new like foundation, it's like 4 inches higher. Like Katie needs a little bit of a running start to like leap up on it. But no, it's great. Yeah. So when you were in your massage too, it's funny you brought that up because so I got one also like a few days ago.
Mhm.
And I thought, because I used to work at like a fitness place and they also have massage. And the big thing was like the therapist will only speak unless you want to engage them or you let them know ahead of time. And my person, she was great. She was nice, like kind of worked me through it because I was like, I don't know what to do. I've gotten one in my life. But she was like, so what do you do? And I go, okay, here we go. So then it goes into like I teach high school. Oh, what subject? Like that whole thing or whatever. Did your
Yeah.
person do that? Or were they kind of
No.
respectful of like, this should be therapeutic?
Yeah, she like at the beginning she was talking and she was like, "Hey, she had to step out real quick cuz like just had to cough for a second." She was like, "I'm so sorry. This probably ruins the ambiance." And I was like, "No, like it's totally fine. Like
Mhm.
I
It's
don't
like
mind."
early in, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then other than that, just didn't talk until the end of it.
Nice.
I've never had a massage therapist talk to me. Like during it. They're just like, "Hey, do you have any allergies? Do you have any
Right.
spots to avoid?" And that's it.
I need to go there. I went to, so it's just down.
Massage?
Is that where you went?
Yeah.
That's where I went. What the fuck? The one like right there by like just past the Dunkin' Donuts?
It's just like on the corner?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
What
where I
the
went.
fuck?
Yeah.
Why did you
Didn't
get
say
a
a
quiet?
You picked the wrong person. That's
yeah.
on you.
We're going to have to share, like, do you remember the name? You're going to have to tell me the name. I made an account and everything.
I did too.
Yeah.
I think it was Chris, maybe? I have to double check though.
Okay. I
Yeah.
don't know who mine was.
But no,
This
she
is
didn't.
bullshit. The fuck?
I wonder, because Eli went too, and he didn't mention anything about like her talking, but like he'd never gotten a massage, so I don't think he would notice that.
Sure.
It doesn't usually happen.
Yeah. It's a weird experience. This is only my second time, and I was like straight up like, hey, I had one in my life. That was weird. This is going to be weird. Walk me through it.
I love
don't
them.
take care of myself.
I love them. There's a place in Florida my mom has like a monthly membership to.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I go to that one a lot when I'm there, and it's just so great. It's significantly cheaper than Chicago, naturally.
Oh, yeah.
But so great.
We're going to
They
for
have fancy
sure.
water.
Like cucumber water or some shit.
Yeah, last time I went, it was like an orange cinnamon water.
Oh, that does not sound refreshing.
It doesn't, but it was so good.
Okay.
Yeah.
At the place in Florida, that is.
Yeah.
We are not being very good salesmen for the one. I'll have to bleep it. We're like, So mine was talking too much. You're like, well, mine didn't talk, but I'm in pain.
It was pain that I wanted. It was pain that I needed, and I am okay with it. I think the pain is not rooted in the massage. It's rooted in me climbing.
Oh,
much.
Sure. Yeah.
Like the tendon or whatever it is that goes from my wrist to my elbow to my shoulder. It's just bad.
The fact that you think it's one tendon as well is probably another indicator.
Biology teacher right here.
Deuces, everybody. I asked you at one point too, like in your first year, I was like, so what are you going to teach when we come back? And you were like, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens, man.
Yeah.
I'll have them ask me questions or whatever it was. It worked out though.
Yeah.
So you're a Floridian.
Mm-hmm.
We can go on a whole tangent about that. We won't, but
Thank God.
How did you wind Yeah, you're like, he's about to lay into me on this. How did you wind up in Chicago? So like, what brought you to teach at our school on the south side of Chicago when you could have been in sunny, beautiful Florida?
Well, it's not sunny and beautiful. Parts of it are, but like, not really. And it's Florida. So it's kind of just gotten worse and worse. And the parts that are beautiful are just going to be underwater.
There you go.
No, but I just very much wanted to not be in the South or anywhere in the Southeast. I was just like, get me out. And like, I grew up in a small town, wanted to live in a bigger city, but then didn't get a degree in teaching. So I did it through good old Teach for America.
Okay.
Gotta love them. Sorry if I say anything bad.
They're not, you think they're listening to this? We're gonna have to talk about the cult of TFA at a certain point.
Oh God.
Well, what was your degree in though?
Biology.
Like the tendon from my pinky all the way up through my other pinky.
I know it's connected. They're not the same, but I know they're connected.
Yeah, the song head, shoulders, knees, and toes, one tendon.
Or
That's the whole song.
what is it? The Bone song from Hannah Montana.
You lost me on that one. That's
no, it's so good.
I'm 28 now. You got to remember
What's your point?
That's before. Is that in my range? We got to hear it now.
Maybe.
No,
I don't know. I don't know the words to it. I just remember she had to study for some test and made up a song about all the bones in the body.
This was an episode?
Yeah.
Thrilling.
Yeah.
Great content.
I learned so much.
I'm going to walk in one day just like out of curiosity, and that's going to be like one of your lessons. All right, guys. You know Miley Cyrus? Yeah. She's your teacher today. What? Yeah.
It would work. It would totally work.
So
she's just as qualified.
Yeah, 100%. Well, so you got the license now, right? Through TFA? That's how that works?
I did, yeah. So I did it through them because they just like, let me teach and also get my degree, which whole bad system in itself.
Okay. Well,
they're like, we'll just let anybody be a teacher. Go for it.
I mean, it's working out, right? I've seen some bad ones too. So like you're way ahead of the curve at least. But...
That's fair. Yeah. But through them, got placed in Chicago. And then they do this whole thing. They just like send your resume out to a bunch of schools and just rely on the principals to reach out. And
so you have no say on that. Just put it out there.
Kind of. Yeah. They just put it out to pretty much any school that will take TFA teachers.
Okay.
Which is not all of them. Usually like the selective enrollment schools won't take TFA teachers. Classic. But then our lovely principal was the first one to call me and first one to offer me a job. And like, you do these interviews in June and are supposed to start and get registered by the end of August.
Oh, gee. Just over the phone interviews and then you're onboarded and then boom.
So like, you kind of have a say if you want to risk it and say like, no, I'm going to wait for a school that's a better fit.
Sure.
I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be like mid-August and not be placed at a school yet. So he was like, hey, if you can teach chemistry too, here's a job for you. And I was like, all right, great, cool, I'll take it.
Yeah. You had no clue what you were getting into then at this point.
But to be fair, a lot of other people I've talked to in like my group of TFA people, like I had a much better time than any of them did. Yeah. Okay. They like their schools just seemed so much worse. Really? So much worse.
Huh.
Not their schools, just like the people,
humans in them.
The people that they worked with, and like the systems that were set up at the schools were just worse.
Sure.
especially like the charter school people. Sorry to charter school people. They're the worst. Yeah. I absolutely hate charter schools.
As we have a charter like right next to us too.
I especially hate that charter.
Oh yeah, like, I've heard stories from kids that transfer in and out from ours to theirs.
Yeah,
it's bad.
That whole network, I just want it gone.
They're not listening.
I just like, if you have to issue that apology of like, oh, I'm sorry we had racist policies, and then you don't change the racist policies, what's the point? Why did you do it?
Yeah. Which for sure is one thing that I've always admired you for, is that whenever there's something that's stupid, you will call it out. Whether it's someone in the military that has legitimate firepower behind them, you're like, I don't give a shit. Fuck this guy. I'm going to call him out on his bullshit. We can't use names, but you know exactly what I'm talking, or who I'm talking about. Which is for sure. Like, even we have one teacher that would use the phrase, like, he used the phrase like fairies or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so within your first year, you were still like, absolutely not. Don't use that, which is, I don't think a lot of people would put their foot in the ground like that.
Yeah, he thought I hated him for a long time. He always thought I was mad at him. Aww. Another teacher thought I was mad at him because I called him a boomer. And I was like, well, you made a sexist joke. Of course I'm going to call you a boomer. Like,
so what do you call our favorite military guy? Do you call him boomer? When you go back and forth, do you butt heads, or is it more just you with like your facial expressions?
See, the beauty of being online is I could just turn my camera off anytime I just like turned my camera off and muted. Claire was always just she knew that I was just like, done. I'm done. And like, I feel bad because she didn't really have the liberty to do that, because she, like, all the work was always put on her. But I was like, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it at this person.
Did you ever? Did you ever go toe to toe? Not physical.
No.
Well, maybe physical. Did you? I mean,
no. It was more of like a calmer calling out type of deal.
Okay.
Like there were multiple times. Like there was one time that I just like yelled at my computer. I was muted. My camera was not off.
You quadruple checked.
Yeah.
You forgot the video.
And he just thought I said something, so he was like, what was that? And I just was like, oh, he just started, like, about a student.
Now, how expressive was your yell, like, visually?
Oh, it was bad.
Was it like bad. A middle finger?
Okay, it's not my fault. He called a kid who had just enrolled. He called this kid a failure. And I was like, just yelled like he just fucking started. And just clearly angry.
So it was like that kind of thing?
Uh-huh.
Justified. He probably knew what you were saying then.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that shows in the fact that, like, he wouldn't even make eye contact with me when we went into the building.
So this, like, 87-year-old man is just in his, military fatigues, is just afraid of, like, this 5'2" 12-year-old.
Yeah. And, like, I have never been, like, not cordial to my coworkers. Mm-hmm. So even him, even though I don't wish death upon a lot of people, him. Even him.
You won't give him a little...
I would say,
a little hua?
Good morning. See, he doesn't do that to me. The other one does. And I just...
Not about it.
I'm so uncomfortable every time. And, like, he's so nice. And last year, or my first year especially, like, was so helpful. Because he was always in...
He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
The other one, not the one that initially we were talking about.
Because he was always in the art teacher's room, like, right next to me, and he also taught the same kids, and so we would just talk about that a lot. It was great. But every morning, he greets me with that, and I'm just like,
not even one?
Good morning. That's what it is. Every time I'm like, how's it going? I refuse to do it back.
Not even once?
No, absolutely not. I will never. As nice as he is, I will never.
Sure.
And it is my active goal to find ways for every other kid out of high school that's not the military.
Right. That's not their avenue.
Yeah.
I could see that. You'd be like the number one unrecruiter. They'll have a table set up and you'll have a table set up.
Dream
right
job.
Next to them. Is it anti-military?
Yes, absolutely.
Not librarian anymore? That's out the window?
Okay, I can do both.
Yeah, there you go.
I already have 3 different jobs at Bowen, so.
There you go. Yeah. That's a good one, though.
I could do both and be like, but here are other options. Have you looked at this yet?
Have you thought about being a librarian instead? Just polar opposites. Is librarian still on the table? That's what you're kind of hoping for?
Yeah. But I have to go back to school.
Yeah. You thought it was just going to be like, you could work at a library.
Yeah.
If you want to just read and organize books. That was the draw, right? Reading and organizing.
Yeah, that's what I really want to do. But then, like, I recently, in my aging, have started looking at retirement accounts.
My aging 24. Like, I'm thinking about my retirement options already.
I, like, seriously was just like, I don't know what a Roth IRA is. What is this? And, like,
I'm pretty ignorant, too. I'm with you. Yeah.
Like, started looking more into it. Learned I have a pension through CPS. And I was
you
like...
didn't know.
Listen, it was this whole ordeal.
You're like, where's my money going? I don't know. Somewhere.
The thing is like, I didn't even realize it was being taken out of my paycheck.
How did you know?
I, like, all the money, like, I saw what my gross total was, and then I saw my net total, and I was like, all right, the rest of that is taxes.
You just assumed that half your paycheck. This is fine. Like the man on fire in the room. This is fine. Half my money's gone. This is okay.
Yeah, I really just thought it was all the taxes, and I was like, all right, whatever. I'm willing to pay higher taxes for things. Okay, cool. But then I learned I had a pension, and I was like,
wait.
Okay.
So you're about to enter year 3. When did you realize this? Like, how far within the 2 years that you were working?
Like 3 weeks ago.
Oh no!
Like,
oh my god!
Because we were talking about the track payment, and I was like, okay, what am I going to do with this? And my friend suggested putting it into a retirement account, and I was just like, why would I do that? I want to keep my money, you know? And he's like, well, you should look through your employment and see if they offer anything like they'll match what you put in or like it'll grow, which I learned CPS does not do.
Of course.
So screw that. I learned I should apparently work for the federal government because they have a great retirement plan.
It's true.
My
dad he retired from business, whatever he was doing in business, and now he's a mailman. He's very happy. He's very excited. He's like, Ryan, you will not believe how much mail every day. Just like, okay, Dad, okay.
Honestly, that would be the dream too.
A mailman?
Yeah. You meet so many people. If like it was better funded and just like treated with respect the way that it should be. Yeah, absolutely.
Katie said my dad had mailman vibes. I don't know what that means, but I get it. I feel like you could pull it off.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I mean, granted, it's not like we're in a position that is respected.
True, we're not really going.
Well-funded.
I did a whole video on it. You were a soundbite actually on the teacher hate video. I don't remember which soundbite it was, but you were in it. Yeah.
Oh no,
that was a whole thing. Yeah. No, it came off great. I think probably. I bet. Who knows? Okay, so pension stuff. You figured that out.
Because I was trying to find things through CPS and look at. One, I was also trying to look at my paycheck to see like when am I getting paid for track.
Never. Can we charge interest, by the way? They haven't paid us it's been like 3-4 months. If we miss a bill, they would charge us interest.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we charge a fee?
I don't know. Because it's CPS. But then I was like, what? I have a pension? What is in there? So then I was like, oh, I've put like 3,000 in just the last couple months. And I was like, wow. It's amazing. Like, how do I log into my actual pension account? And that was a whole ordeal. They had the wrong school listed for my security question.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So it took a couple times of getting locked out before I could finally register my account. And then I learned I can't even do anything with this. I like can't change how much I put in. It doesn't match anything. And I'm like,
cash out or you can keep it there.
Yeah. And I'm like, why? What? Why does this exist?
Hooray.
So then I like started looking like, okay, maybe I should set up a different retirement account, like one that will maybe like grow over time.
A separate in addition to, or like shift it all over?
Well, I think once I leave CPS, I'll like shift it all over because I don't want to just leave. Because I mean, by the time I leave, I'll probably have at least 20-30 grand in there. So I'm like, I don't want to just leave it in there where it's not going to at least grow or do anything.
Sure. So wait, what's your plan for like, once you're done with teaching, what's that timeline look like?
Oh, I have no idea.
You have to consider too, Adam does cook you lunch like
I
every day.
know. It's so, oh my God. It feels so bad too. The number of lunches I left in my fridge over the weekend and just forgot about them. It was so sad. But like I've told so many people, I'm like, that person is the only reason I eat food during the day. Like I don't pack my own lunches.
He will remind me. He'll come into my room and be like, did you eat? And be like,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's magical. I know, it's so hard because I'm like, I have to give up those. I don't want to do that.
That's the only draw is lunch.
No.
So if we set you up with
one other class.
There you go.
I'm like, I have this commitment for 2 years. 2 years left of Embark. And I'm like, all right, after that, I either can decide to like do it all again.
Yeah.
Or leave. Because like I feel like I got lucky with my teaching position, especially compared to like everyone else in TFA. But it's just in Chicago.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. I'm telling you, got California vibes. California or Colorado. I'm not sure where specifically, but
see, the thing is like Colorado's too dry. There's no coast next to it.
Okay. So there's the surfer part that I don't know. Do you surf? I feel like you surf. You don't?
I don't. Huh. I tried once as a kid and almost drowned. And then I tried once as an adult and I was like, oh my God, this is so hard. How does anybody do this? No.
Okay, so not Colorado, not going to be a Denver person.
No. I also just like don't like Denver. Been a few times. One of my friends who I've been friends with since like middle school moved out there. And it's nice. But like definitely.
To visit more so? Okay.
Definitely not a place I'd want to live.
Florida? Going back home?
Absolutely not. Absolutely
nowhere
not.
South or east.
Yeah. I envision myself either in like mid-northern California or like the Northeast somewhere.
Okay.
I also feel like the Northeast is going to be safest from climate change. So I got to factor that into my choice.
Right. You got to figure out where there's going to be an army recruiter so you can set up shop next to him. There's a lot of factors. So that's in like which it's funny you mentioned that too, because that was my like exit plan, which would have been this year. Like my Embark group just graduated. So I looped with them. And then I was like, And now here I am about to get a new group. So I'll be curious to see. Yeah, I know. I'm not sure what to expect. Because the first year of that program, every single sophomore was enrolled, whether they wanted to be in it or not. And there were 2 classes. And they converged them into one, and it was just me. And then slowly went from like 60 kids down to like 12.
Yeah.
By the end of the 3 years.
Yeah. That's what I'm wondering. I've seen, because like the other Embark teacher, her group is now super small.
Yeah, much faster too, to get to a much lower number. Yeah.
And I'm wondering, like, is that going to happen to my group? Like, are they also going to be super small? We'll find out.
Yeah, transfers and one dropout and some kids that are just like, with the whole thing. So,
although I did learn that I guess, because like whatever graduation requirements, very random, but Embark just used to be coded as one course, and now they have different course codes for every single year.
They didn't have that before? I didn't know that.
No, it was always the same course code, but so now like they don't have to go through all this effort to like try to get multiple elective credits type of deal.
That makes me feel better. I didn't realize that it was that much of a waste of time before.
Yeah.
That's kind of disconcerting. Shit.
Yeah. So I don't know. Well, I'm kind of relying on TFA to maybe give me a job when I move.
So we can't go too into TFA on this one.
I mean, we can.
Okay. So how much of a cult? No.
They are very, I feel like a lot of us made our feelings very clear.
Like in the program about it? Okay.
Absolutely. And you know, just like every major company did this year, they really invested in DEI, diversity and equity.
Oh.
They all decided now's the year we care, starting as a nonprofit organization that is supposed to care, which whole other issue. It's nonprofits, but they held all these different like focus groups, and they essentially were just like really lay into it. What's wrong with TFA?
Oh, they asked you guys straight up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they were like, oh, here's my moment.
You didn't realize I have a notebook filled.
And it's, I mean, granted, like, all throughout the entire 2 years, even when they didn't ask, myself and everybody in the program gave their opinions.
Okay.
Whether or not they chose to
you
listen.
shouldn't ask. Here's what I think.
Whether or not they chose to listen, like, did they change? No, but we tried.
Right. You put it out there. So what's your major, aside from like the obvious diversity and equity issues, what's like your main gripe with them?
Ooh.
It's gonna be hard to pick. You could do multiple. We can make this a TFA like dish session. Like, I'm convinced it's a cult. I've seen the bad. I've heard some good stuff.
I think it definitely used to have like much more cult-ish vibes, but like everybody in my cohort just seemed to have like a baseline disliking and a baseline understanding of like, you're a shitty nonprofit that has a very white savior mentality, and came into it with that. And so I think it used to be, especially when it was started in the 90s, much more cultish.
It's that old?
Yeah, it started in like 91 or something.
I didn't realize that. It's older than me.
What, barely? Like a year?
Ouch. Couple years, thank you very much. June 93, what's up?
Okay, so 2 years?
I'm the villain. I found out Geminis are bad or something like that.
No. I am also an air sign, so got no issues with air signs.
What?
Yeah.
What is an air sign, moon rising,
Do
descending?
you not know your chart?
No.
That's upsetting.
The kids ask me every year, and I don't know every year. I forgot that I was a Gemini because I had to look it back up. They figured it out for me, though, which is good. Yeah, there's like a rising, a sun, a moon, a Saturn, a cloudy, rainy.
Yeah.
Alphabetical.
You can do your whole chart. The sun and the moon and the rising are the biggest ones.
Is it going to be in that birthday book bullshit language of birthdays that Katie has?
I thought that was a cookbook.
It could be.
Maybe? I don't know.
Depends,
I can't tell.
Could be,
but
like,
no, there's a whole website. You just put in like your birthday, when you were born, and then where you were born, and it'll give you
where.
Yeah.
Oh, time zone.
Yeah.
Too much work.
It'll tell you where, like, for the where, it's more so for like your rising sign. I don't know why that matters.
What? Rising, descending, lateral.
Listen, there are lots of apps that will explain what all of those mean to you.
I don't want to read any of them. Anyway, TFA, astrological sign bullshit aside.
Yes.
Do you read those horoscopes then for yourself?
No.
Okay, good.
I kind of used to.
I was about to say leave
Like
with dignity.
So there's one app that like is not the best. Like I used to use CoStar because that's like what people told me to use.
Yeah. I've heard of it.
Yeah, and they send out like daily notifications, and then I learned that those daily notifications are like meant to make you feel bad. Like the creator of CoStar was like, yeah, we made these to make people feel bad. Like,
that's incredible. What a great concept.
Yeah. So after that, I was just like, oh, okay. Like,
was there hope just make them more productive? The people that are reading them? Like,
maybe.
You got to fight against this?
Maybe, or just like, yeah, follow along the path that you thought you were going to be on and like sink deeper into your depression. Like,
right. Like, fuck your bootstraps. You're screwed. Like that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Anyway. So TFA.
Yeah. In all its glory.
Yeah.
But my biggest issues. Oh boy. So there's two main ones that come to mind. One is that they are just like any other nonprofit and that they will work its members to the bone for less pay.
Like additional, like in addition to teaching and stuff. Oh, because you had to do like a few like panels or whatever it was.
And like not even that, because like I wasn't even hired by TFA. But like all of the staff members that work there, like admin, board, whatever, not the board members, they don't do shit, but admin and...
She's looking for a job, by the way, if you're listening.
I'm sorry. Board members don't do shit in any corporation.
It's true. I'll give you that.
And I will stand by that. But a lot of nonprofits will like work their people to the bone because anybody that works for a nonprofit will typically, not always, but like go into it with this mindset of like, I want to make change. I know this isn't going to be easy. And the organizations take advantage of that and tell you like, this is going to be hard. And then we'll just like make it so much worse.
Sure. And unbeknownst to them, because they assume it's going to be difficult.
Yeah. And it's just like this very awful work environment where you're just like told to accept a shitty environment and like told to work harder and like this is just the way it is and it doesn't have to be that way.
Again, looking for possible future employment. No, that's fair though. I think that's something that even if like that's not like a overtly like negative, like, oh, that's a damning thing to say. I think you could say that of most like a teaching position or a nonprofit or whatever it may be, where people are underappreciated, overworked, and underpaid for what they are producing. Right,
exactly. And granted, you know, there's not a lot of jobs these days that will not overwork you and pay you a decent wage.
Right.
Right. So that's one of the issues. Another one is their reliance on charters and also like just their relationship with schools.
Sure.
So for example, like if a core member quits, so like the commitment's 2 years, if a core member quits in those 2 years, like the school will pay TFA. Like
what?
Yeah. So a school will pay TFA.
Why would that entice someone to stay?
Because they're cheaper than just like if the teacher was hired.
Well, I mean, like if you're someone that's like committing to 2 years and then you're like, fuck this. But well, the school that you're leaving is going to have to pay for you if you leave. Like, why would that?
So they pay like so like if I got hired at and like our principal would pay TFA a certain amount of money. Mm-hmm. If I left, the school doesn't get that money back. TFA keeps that money, even if we don't fulfill our commitment.
Right. So it's not on the individual at all. It's just between.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be a disaster. That probably happens a lot then.
Yeah, happens a lot. Because like the dropout rate is high because it's hard. They're throwing these people who don't know how to teach into a teaching environment. That is not easy.
Yeah, we have quite a few people that have come through TFA that didn't last. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the school loses money for that, and they don't actually get the work that was promised through that, which is
right. And then you got to go through the hiring process, which is a disaster.
Right. Another thing is, in that process, TFA gets more money from charter schools. So they try to place more people at charter schools.
Sounds like union busting almost.
Yeah.
Basically.
Specifically, two charters, which if you have to bleep their names, whatever. Noble and Kip schools.
Okay. I'm leaving them in. Fuck it.
Two very shitty charter networks. But like all of their policies, like even our grad school classes were like based off of school policies of Kip and Noble, which...
So you probably had a really rough discussion section every time, just like...
God, it was the worst.
Beating the shit out of it.
Like, they would show these videos of like, here's how your classroom discipline should look. Ew. And you're just like, this looks so militaristic. And this just like...
Well, absolutes like that already, no matter what they're saying, that's a big red flag.
Yeah. And everyone was like, this isn't going to work in our classroom. What? And they're like, just establish control. And you're like, no. Not gonna do that. And so that was just like a lot of our education was based off of Kip and Noble practices. And everyone in CPS was like, we're not gonna do that. One, we don't have to, and two, that's just not gonna work.
Sure. Did you actually like call that out at the time with your, because it's through a grad school, right? But they're a TFA. Like how does that...
and like even like the dean and a lot of people that work at this grad school worked for a Kip or a Noble school.
Okay.
And no, this came up like our summer training before we even started and we're taking some grad school classes. It came up then. And it just continued throughout the 2 years of our program. And all of us were like, no. And then Noble came out with their bullshit like, sorry, we were racist. And like TFA continues to teach their policies. And
right, right.
No.
Now, are the policies different in the school, but they're just still being taught at your guys' university level, or it's all in place still?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fine.
I just remember like I did a couple interviews with a couple Noble schools, and I was like, I can't work here. I'm going to get fired. Like,
Yeah.
something like kids weren't supposed to have their phones in the hallway, which is like the one time at
Yeah, like, who
least that a
cares?
kid should be able to.
Yeah.
Like, let them have their breaks. Something like that. And if they got, like, they had a demerit system.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about it from
Yeah.
our kids that transferred there and then shortly after come back.
Yeah, which, like, supposedly they're trying to get rid of it. Who knows? But, like, if a kid got 4 demerits in a week, got detention at the end of the week. And if they got detention this many times, they couldn't go to prom at the end of the year. And I was like, if they can't go to prom for some bullshit like having a phone, absolutely not. Like, I'm not going to give demerits, and then I'm going to get in trouble for not giving demerits.
Right. Like a cop at the end of the month for like speeding tickets.
Yeah.
That's, well, not to mention too, it's the opportunity to buy a prom ticket.
Right. And, like, here's the thing, you know, like, if you don't want to do the shitty things that a cop does, don't be a cop. And so my decision was like, I'm not going to do the shitty things that Noble does, so I'm not going to teach at Noble.
Right.
And, like, granted, I still think, like, our school has policies in place that I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah, there's a lot of problems.
But I'm not going to get in trouble for not doing them.
Well, if I found that if you try to do it in-house, like in your classroom, like one-on-one, that's the most effective. But sometimes you're like, ugh, my hands are tied here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. And so there are, like, certain lines to cross and certain ones to not. But, like, I don't know. TFA's relationship with charter schools, just not it. Just not it for me.
That sounds like an absolute nightmare. But
Yeah.
you finished it, right? Because I remember you were doing, like, early in the track season when we started coaching together. You finished up, like, you're like, I have like a 10-page paper to do. And I was like, when's it due? And you're like, tomorrow.
That shit was 40 pages.
Oh, 40. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
And you did it in like a 12-hour span or something.
Yeah, it was rough. It was really bad.
What was it about? Like, what could you go on for 40 pages about?
Okay. So here's the other thing. We had to do a fucking paper all about data collected this year.
Was it real data? Do you want me to bleep that? Do you want me to cut it?
Maybe. I don't think they're listening, but, you know. Yeah, it was just, like, supposed to be like a data reflection. What did you learn from all the data you collected this year? Which one, like...
Oh, during the COVID year, too.
Yeah.
Like the full COVID year.
Yeah. And it was just like, how is anybody getting a response on this? How are you getting any data that's relevant? And, like, so I'd throw in sometimes, like, oh, this kid didn't respond, so I couldn't get their reflection on it, whatever, but it was all entirely made up.
Well, that's pretty accurate, though, if you had to pick a non-response and /A.
Yeah. So it was just complete bullshit. And then we had to present on that data. It was essentially like a senior thesis, which, fake thesis.
Did you have to, like, dress up for it, too?
No. It was still on Zoom.
Okay.
So, like, I wore, like, a button down.
The waist up,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you remember about this, your first report card pickup?
I do. And you know what? I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to wear a dress every single time.
Black tie form. You believed it. I even got
did.
Claire involved. I was like, hey, if Kai texts you, you got to help her sell it.
I was sitting on her couch and I was like, what am I supposed to wear to this?
It's amazing.
And, like...
Oh, so you were there. So real time, you were asking her, and then she probably got a text from me as she's sitting in front of you in her classroom, and you're asking about,
and,
yes,
you know,
clutch.
I took it as her word because, like, she normally wears dresses to school. So I was like, okay, I should do this. I should not wear my sweatpants and a t-shirt like I normally do. And you know what? I'm just going to stick to it.
What was the moment you realized, oh, Ryan was full of shit when he said black tie formal?
The shitty thing is, it wasn't when I first walked in, because there were some teachers who looked nice and were dressed formally. And I was like,
compared to what they usually wear.
Yeah. So that helped a little bit. I was like, you know what? At least I don't really stand out.
Right. Not too bad. Yeah.
But I also have very few teacher dresses. So I feel like if I go to enough report card pickups, I'm just going to run out and go back to my jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah, you can rotate them at least every 4 years, right?
No, it's too much work. I'm going to just fully commit.
There you go. There you go. Was it when I walked up in just like khakis and a polo that
Yeah.
you were like, you fucker?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Ah, good time.
Awful.
Anyway. Well, so switching into track, your first year of coaching, we know you have a prolific track history. You showed me the pictures that were caught of you about to vomit right before, after, or during when they were being taken or whatever. We had a weird season, but how was it overall? What'd you think? Your first year doing it? My first full year doing it too, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, I think having like a smaller group was helpful.
With our terrible fundraiser, $44 we raised. Well, 55, but we got to take home 44 of it.
Oh my God.
They were like, we've never made less than $1,000 per school. And I was like, oh, we'll see about that, bud.
That feels like a lie.
Yeah.
I feel like there's got to be other schools out there. Come on.
Well, now they have to lie. They can't say the lowest we made is $44.
See, maybe that's happened before, you know?
Right. That's the outlier. Shit.
It was okay though. I don't know what, I didn't know what to expect. I don't know. I think I could have done a little bit more to be like, please just like try a little bit harder.
Thinking about like two in particular kids. Yeah.
But I mean, that's applicable to my teaching this year too.
Yeah, all of us.
I'm
Yeah.
probably gonna be like, please try a little bit harder.
I was surprised how many kids were. So some kids were shocked because when I coach football, you've seen it on the sideline. I can be pretty intense, but then for track, it's like the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that deterred some of the girl athletes for a little while there. But then they eventually came because they're like, oh, he's a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know, by the way, that some kids didn't know that, I'm going to bleep it, but they thought Coach and Mr. was a different person, two different people. They didn't realize it because they even asked,
Really?
they were like, so like, is Coach I'll ask him for you.
God. Oh, so it's your fault they believe that.
Oh, yeah, I perpetuated it a little bit, but yeah, they didn't realize. But no, I thought it was good. I mean, we had two kids that went to City for track, right? That's decent.
Yeah. No, that was
Fine.
good. They like went above my expectations,
Oh,
which
yeah.
I think is something for me to learn.
And we have some great quips, from Damarian wanting to keep his do-rag on, so he just claimed he was Muslim, to many other things.
They really, granted, we talked to him and I think he learned that's not an okay thing to do.
Yeah.
But good God, the number of times it came up in those coaches meetings.
The rules meeting. That was so scary. It came up at the meet, too.
Yeah. So many times it just kept coming up and I was like, oh my God, what have you caused, man?
When I told him, he went, oh, man. I think he felt genuinely bad, but it was, once we dealt with it, then it became hilarious because it came up every time. Whenever they talk about the blue satin do-rag, we know it's about Demaria.
Which, is a dumb rule anyway. Some sports have their things. We couldn't wear earrings in volleyball for a good reason.
Yeah, you could rip your shit.
Yeah, and it's gross.
Maybe they're worried about it coming off and tripping someone. I don't know. I'm not a track starter, but
Maybe. I don't know. But for something like the 100, it's not going to trip anybody. They'll be fine. They're running on flat ground.
Right. What was your event pilot? You said you were long distance?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was bad.
That bad?
Yeah. I mean, could have been worse.
Did you do it in college?
No. God, no.
The way you said that. Okay, so in high school?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because you actually would go and you would run with the kids. I did once, but I kept forgetting to bring the right shoes. But you actually ran with them, which is
I tried.
very first year coach of you. That will fade, I hope.
No.
There was that one coach from the other school that she was running around. I was like, she might be helping pace the kids a little bit here, but she was
too much work for me.
She was very first year energy, and she was.
Yeah, I just there are some times when I'm like, hey, if I do this with you, will you also do it?
Right.
It works in class and it works here too. And I was like, all right, if this is what gets you to run, sure.
Right.
Let's do it.
Whether you're wearing Crocs or not.
Yeah.
Which we all wore at one point.
Every practice. What it was.
Athletic strap was on, so it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, sport mode fixes everything.
Sport mode, that's what it's called. Yeah. I'll have to change my vocabulary.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We went hiking a couple times and I like forgot my boots and just
You
had
went in
Crocs.
Crocs? Oh, are they ripped up and destroyed?
They're not, but oh my God, that was the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Especially
no
like it
support.
was muddy up hills and I was like, I'm going to die. Like I am just going to slip and hit my head on a rock. Like,
But you know what? Your feet got plenty of circulation. So it's all worth it. That's incredible. No. Well, so I know you're going to California soon. You got to pack and all that stuff. So I guess my last little thing is summer refresher. So like 2 days into our summer break, we got an email about next year.
oh
So,
my God.
Yeah. You have thoughts on that too? That was a long email. That was a lot of bullet points. Like
Yeah.
a lot of bullet points.
Yeah. Oh, so many feelings about that email. I saw it and I was like, I'm not doing shit with that.
Right.
Like,
What could we do? It was like the second day after.
yeah. And then I was like, who the fuck do you want me to recruit? One, I barely know the layout of Chicago. That means I'm not qualified for this job. But also, what do you want me to do? Like, I don't know any of these kids from 8th grade, like prior to high
the feeder
school.
schools and all that.
Yeah, I was like, what? And also, what, we're going to get that email and then just nothing's going to happen. He's going to put no effort to change that and like actually do anything for that.
That was like one of like 30 bullet points too, or something like that. I don't even want to pull it up. It's going to take too long to find it. I think I deleted it. I legitimately deleted it.
Yeah. And the response of like, this is going to be a great idea. And I was like, no, it's not going to do shit.
Have you found that the reply all to the all staff email chains are a bit of an ass kissing session?
Yeah. Especially, I really
I'll bleep it. Don't worry. Go for it. Go for it.
just like things
Here it
like,
comes.
like the prom video.
Yeah.
When that got sent out.
Or you mean the graduation video?
Or yeah, the graduation video.
That was.
And everyone, which like, it was cute, whatever. But then everybody responding to it like, this is so beautiful. This is amazing. Great work. Like, shut up.
Yeah. We don't all need to read that.
Yeah. I was like, just reply to the person that made it. Like, I appreciated it. It was enjoyable, especially like if you had those kids.
Mm-hmm.
Did
you see some of the quotes on that, by the way?
Yeah.
One of them was like, trust no one. Like, what?
I love the ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
I was like, classic, my guy. Classic. But yeah, everyone that's like, this is great. Great job. And I'm like, please stop emailing me about this. I don't want this.
Some of them are the automatic responses too. Like when it's like, yes, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah. Those are great. Sometimes I've used them because it's like low effort. Like, how can I do the least amount of clicks as possible?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Ooh,
definitely.
something I got to figure out is how to do my freaking email signature.
Did you get it done?
No.
You
Now that I have like credentials to put next to it, I'm like, ooh, I should update this.
The tech guy did mine.
Oh, okay.
But now I can't change it ever.
Okay. I think I can figure out how to put the signature in. I just don't know what to write.
What do you mean? Social science teacher, track coach. What else do you do?
It just all feels too official, too adult. Do
Too
I really
adult.
have a degree? It doesn't feel like it.
Here's what you do to really piss everybody off, myself included, legitimately. Put a quote, even if you were on something for like a week, put it in there. Even if it's a fake position, put it in there. Even if it's minutes, put it in there.
Yeah.
It should be 18 lines to really be on pace with. Go for it.
Oh my God.
Holy shit. But yeah. Well, all right. So summer recharge. So bouldering's got to be one of them, right? What's your main thing?
Yeah.
Like, what's your go-to to actually ignore all that bullshit, all the emails and shit they're trying to have us do, including I got asked, like, can you help our summer teacher with curriculum planning? No. I'm not.
Absolutely
I'm not
the
being
fuck
paid.
not.
I said no to summer school. But what's your actual like summer recharge?
So a big part of it is with climbing. I do that at least, like, I go to the climbing gyms like at least 2 to 3 times a week.
Oh,
We
nice.
try to go climbing outside somewhere every weekend if we can. It's not much because it's the Midwest and each climbing place is at least 3.5 or more hours away.
Right.
But that's a big part of it. We've been working on a puzzle, or I've been doing one for
Like on a table pot?
like a 1,000-piece puzzle. Got it from REI. It's great. It's very on par with me. It's got a bunch of sea creatures on it and says, like, the ocean is in our hands.
That is very, yeah.
Been doing that and, like, finally got back into reading a little bit and trying to finish reading a trilogy right now, trying to finish that.
That's impressive. I still, since 2017, I cannot read for fun. Grad school ruined it.
It's hard to get back into. I read, like, it takes me a while. I read 2 pages and I'm like, wow, I'm tired.
Yeah, 100%. It's like a chore.
Yeah. But I got this trilogy just, like, has so many plot twists in it that I'm like, wow, I'm on my toes. I want to keep reading.
What's the trilogy? Maybe I should try this.
It's, if you like sci-fi books, it's called The 3-Body Problem.
The 3-Body Problem.
Yeah. It's very, like, physics oriented. I've talked to Adam about it a lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, John Lennon.
I don't think you have to know physics to understand this book. I actually don't know if the physics is accurate.
It's definitely not. I haven't read it. It's definitely not. I don't know. It could be. You know.
It's got plenty of plot twists in it. So I'm like, oh, I'm actually intrigued.
Okay. Maybe I'll give it a shot.
Yeah. So, I mean, I now have all these hours to fill in my days.
For now, yeah.
Like today, I sat there and worked on this puzzle and watched, like, bouldering competitions.
What?
That's all I did today before I could finish my laundry and start packing.
Are you still knitting?
Kind of.
You got a grandma starter kit. It's in the making. It's amazing.
I know. I have been working on this blanket for like a year now. Been stuck on one color just because I stopped knitting for a very long time.
There you go.
But
yeah.
I am bringing it with me to California. I got like 30 hours in the car to work on it.
Jesus. I did those friendship bracelets that Katie and I did on that table over there. That took way longer than I thought.
Yeah.
Like,
those things are so hard to make.
They are. We did the kind that's like really complicated. Apparently I picked the most complicated pattern on accident. And then she's like, yeah, you can use this skill to, like, my grandma made that. And like, it's huge. It covers like from that corner to like that corner. I'm never going to get there.
Yeah, no.
never want to, but.
Yeah, no, I'm doing like the easy thing with knitting where like you just knit like a thin scarf width of something and then just sew them together.
Oh, like an infinity?
Yeah.
And terminology.
It's just a little bit easier than trying to like make this big ass blanket.
Still time consuming though.
Yeah.
Well, that's
absolutely.
Cool though. I love that puzzling is on there. That's incredible.
Oh, best thing ever.
Sorry. It is on par though. The global warming one. When you're done, are you going to burn it just to be very, you know?
I'm going to do the glue.
Like nice. It's going to go into
glue.
A table and then put glass over it?
It's not that big, sadly.
Damn. Make a small table.
I do want to frame it. So I want to get some puzzle glue and like actually keep it together.
There's a thing called puzzle glue? Isn't it just glue?
Maybe.
Maybe Mod Podge?
I think it's like it's just got the little brush on it so you can put it over. But yeah, that's the goal.
A 28, I said 27 again. A 28-year-old and a 24-year-old get together and they talk about Mod Podging, knitting, and puzzles. It's exactly where we thought this would go.
It's the best.
Yeah.
Saw this dude on TikTok and he's like, this is how I test that all of my puzzles are done correctly, and just like lifts the puzzle up and can shake it and it doesn't fall apart.
That is confidence at not wasting his hours of time.
Yeah, I'm like, what do you do? What do you do if it falls apart and you know all the pieces are correct? What? I would lose it.
I would throw it away.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
So we're just going to glue it and make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to try to frame it.
100%. Are you going to start a teacher TikTok?
Absolutely not.
Have you seen them? Some of our stuff?
Yeah, absolutely not. And I remember a student actually told me, they were like, I found you on TikTok because that's like the one thing we can follow you on.
What the fuck is in your feed? What is this weird porpoise bullshit?
But that's the best part. They don't see that. They just see that like I don't post anything.
Oh, God. Oh, you hid your likes.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. They will absolutely not see my likes. No. Which, like, granted, most of them now are just climbing and dogs.
There you go.
That's the bulk of it.
An improvement, because I was afraid when you'd be like, hey, check this out, and be like, please don't. Please let me enjoy this bus ride.
You should see Eli's. It's 10 times worse. Like that porpoise, it's just mostly that. It's mostly that type of shit on TikTok. Horrifying. Absolutely horrifying.
Absolutely horrifying.
Yeah.
Well, that aside, I shouldn't have brought it up because now I'm going to think about the porpoise, but
You're welcome. We've come full circle.
yeah, 100%. Well, thanks for jumping over, especially during the summer. We'll have to do some sort of follow-up at some point, get everybody together or something. But thanks for jumping over.
Absolutely.
Drive safe and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I would say plug stuff, but you're not going to start a teacher TikTok. I have one, admittedly. I'm not doing anything with it, but I do have one for the podcast. Don't follow it. It's a disaster.
I'm absolutely going to.
Oh, yeah.
I'll share all of my favorite videos with it.
Oh, yeah, please. Actually, yeah, I do actually want you to add me on my personal TikTok because I need to see this weird shit at some point. But everybody at home, thanks so much for listening. This was Kai who joined us, who's now going to be entering year 3. Mm-hmm. Yip, yeah. You can technically follow Classroom Brew on TikTok, but please don't. Go to Instagram. You can follow us at Classroom Brew. We also have a Patreon if you want to get that podcast merch and all that stuff. You already know it. You've heard it many times. But thank you guys so much for listening. Thanks again, Kai. And until next week, class dismissed.
Thank you.